for tuning in to the Staff Meeting Podcast. Join us every other week as we dive into the latest threats, trends, and transformative solutions shaping our digital world.
Today, we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about cybersecurity. And I think everybody knows it's a thing, right? Even if you watch TV and watch the news and stuff. I think myself as a business owner, I did not really realize like how hardcore it is when I went to go answer some of the survey questions on our business insurance. And it was very clearly designed, I would say, so that the insurance company can get out of paying a claim.
Yeah.
And it's their escape clause. And I think we have clients too that are having to answer the same questions, and they may not be doing everything that they should be doing. So we do want to talk about what are those things that people should be doing. So if anybody has any ideas, wants to speak up.
The obvious one is 2FA.
2FA is super
That's the obvious one. But you still get
Yeah.
people that push back, although not as much as they used to. But there's still people that don't want to do it. It's crazy.
I agree. I think, it's MFA on everything. And now we're seeing kind of the next generation of MFA where like people are not going to send to a phone, text to a phone. They won't do SMS, and they want to do to an app or whatever. So I think the thing that I've seen is MFA for sure on email, on payroll, like logging into ADP, logging into the bank. It's really all about making sure you are who you say you are. And for those who don't know about like why the texting is going away, state actors have been able to make their way into the United States texting system.
Right.
And so when it's not so bad when an Android phone texts an Android phone or iPhone texts an iPhone, but if an iPhone goes across the public network to text a Android phone or vice versa, or you receive a text from a service provider, that's out in the clear, that's out in the open. Yep. And people can call Verizon, do research on you and say, I lost my phone and, I need a new one. And then they become they get a phone, and then they're intercepting all your text messages. And if they know your passwords, then they're into the bank account. So that's kind of why we're seeing texting going away. Any other?
Well, another portion of that, everybody hates doing multi-factor authentication.
Exactly.
And it is a necessary evil in order to protect ourselves and to make sure that you verify who you are. Yeah. Well, the problem with that is, and what do they call it? You guys have mentioned it, where the hackers hammer in and throw in multiple multi-factor authentication requests.
Yeah.
What ends up happening?
Someone just hits the button because they're just like, they're so
they're weary of it, so
MFA
they end up
fatigue.
hitting the button. MFA fatigue. Thank you. That was the term that I was looking for. So I think what's really, really important tied to multi-factor authentication is training and how to use it, because first off, most executives don't want to deal with multi-factor authentication because it's a hassle.
Yeah.
And corporate executives, they want less hassle. So training is needed to educate them what multi-factor authentication is and why it's so important. And then for the rest of the staff, it's important to educate them as to how hackers can potentially exploit it and try to get them to pass through the MFA so that the hacker can gain control and add in their own multi-factor authentication tools,
their own phone,
which we've seen before. The man in the middle attack.
Yep,
we've seen
phone.
That.
I think when I've done we give our clients are able to purchase a training where they get the email, little video once a month because it has to be continual training. They also get a webinar, and I do a webinar included with that, no extra charge, once a year. And what I have found very interesting in the webinar has been what people have learned for their personal life.
Exactly, because it relates to your personal life and your business life. It's
Yeah.
all the same. We're all whether you go to a business website for Salesforce or you're going to your bank website, you're seeing the same experience because the technology is the same. And
I'm trying to find I cannot tell you how many text messages. There's a UPS package. There's,
yeah, exactly
I
that.
mean,
Yeah.
dude, I'm
Oh
trying to
yeah,
see if I can
constant.
find one. I probably
Yeah, I've been
deleted
getting
them.
all the ones I've been getting recently have been like the toll road ones. You
I
have this
was
bill.
just
I get
about
a
to say
ton of
that.
those out of
I
nowhere
just got
too.
told roads. Haven't even driven
Hilarious.
outside of the city, bro. Like you're
Yeah,
telling
I've
me,
never even been on a toll roll. I don't even know. I don't even know what one is.
Yeah,
It's all
that's a very
conceptual to
common
me.
one. I will comment. One of our financial services clients, Richard, after you gave some of your training, the amount of awareness that they had for phishing emails and things like that, they are constantly coming back to us asking, is this a phishing email? Is this okay? Should we delete this? What should we do with this? Should, blah, 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 blah. And that's exactly what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Is that
Absolutely.
awareness. So, I mean, it pays off.
I think
really
the
does.
education is the least spent on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah, because it's
and
a waste of time.
Andrew, you're the one who does all the reports.
Yeah,
sends
and you
all
see
the-
you get an opportunity to see who's participating, who's engaging, who's actually looking at those
Clicking.
emails, right?
Yep.
And on top of that, one of the interesting ones, and we've all kind of educated our clients before, whereas that one of them is a one that will always come through is, especially for departments in the HR sector or in sales, they
Send me my W-2.
Yep, they send that link, right? Where, oh hey,
Yep.
it's a DocuSign. I'm not sure who it is. Well, can you verify? Well, one first step is always to verify the vendor itself.
Yep.
Get on the phone, verify who that individual may be, whomever may be emailing you, and do a little bit digging. I think sometimes we just get stuck in the virtual environment where, well, let's we stop at the screen and we don't know how, get on the old
Mabel?
rotary phone and
Andy?
hey.
How old is your? Yeah, I think the especially we've seen the wire transfer where hackers insert themselves in the email dialogue and change the routing numbers for wire. I think it's huge. I mean, again, there are other parts that are table stakes at this point, which is the not antivirus, because antivirus doesn't work anymore, but the second generation of antivirus now called XDR, which could be Carbon Black or Sentinel-1 or whatever, take your pick. And remote management, in which you're pushing out patching. And if the patching's not happening, it barks. So we know patching is so key. I think that, as well as making sure that people don't have local admin rights.
Exactly.
And it's, in some places I know it's difficult to do, but what happens is they browse somewhere and it uses the admin rights they have to silently install stuff on the machine.
What about logging? I mean, if you don't have logs of where people have been and how that happened, then you can never find out the story. It's just like somebody got into the network. How?
Right.
You should the remediation part of it should be just as important as the blocking part.
Right.
Because if you have I have all these wide receivers in front of me, but you didn't know that you were missing something over here and they got right in, you're just like, well, I don't understand why. Got like 5 fences.
Yeah.
If you didn't check your logging and didn't see you had a web server exposed to the internet that had wasn't patched or had some kind of port open that wasn't supposed to be open, and that's where they got in, all of those fences go away. It's like the insider threat, right? Where they clicked on that email and just gave them a door right into from the inside, like they dug them a tunnel.
All the time.
Right past that every single time.
That's kind of where
doing his job, right?
Yeah, that's kind of where, like, the what I like about the XDR is that and it's why we have it in a watch mode for a couple of weeks before we turn it on, is if it sees somebody in accounting who normally just is in Excel all the day, all of a sudden launch a PowerShell script to scan the network and do all this stuff, and they don't even do that kind of work, the AI capabilities of the XDR go, no, you're out. That's not right.
Yeah, that's not right.
I get hit with that all the time because I will, when I log in to sometimes get a file from a customer and it sees me logging in from another city, I'm out. You know, so there's no way you're in LA and Seattle at the same time. You're done. Yeah, and which is risky sign in, right? So again, I would say to wrap it up, what would you say are like in the NIST small business world, just the basics that are just table stakes now? What would you consider like the 5 basic things that people like non-negotiable have to do?
I would say for me, I like to take it beyond MFA, beyond the code. It's adaptive. It's like
Adaptive
really looking
MFA,
at adaptive MFA. And if you're using Microsoft and you don't have a P2 license, which is the Plan 2 Intra, then you don't have access to this feature. But that feature will one day save you from getting hacked.
Yeah, which is like not letting people in from another country or
building the conditional
forcing you to
access
type the
policies.
number. You got to type the number on top of the thing or pick the number out.
Pick the number out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Adaptive
MFA, no local admin. That's another.
No local admin.
XDR,
Sentinel-1,
whomever.
Training.
Take your pick. Training's
a big one, and logging. Logging is just as important as everything else, even if it's for the last 30 days. I mean, some companies and insurance will require compliance for a year.
Yeah,
you should at least have logs for the last 30 days so you can reach back to see, an unusual amount of sign-ins, or this person signs in at all hours of the time. You should be looking at that stuff. I mean, it's more about auditing, not just relying on the tools to audit you. You should audit them yourself to go make sure that you don't see anything weird. That's just like a person in front of you until you can get to that person. That's just good cybersecurity, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, and Andrew's the one spending all night patching people.
Exactly.
He actually has a song he listens to. It's kind of a reggae song. We be patching. We be patching.
Exactly.
And now you have to do Windows Update. What are the thumbs up? It's Windows updates, the store. What else, Andrew?
So typically WinGet is a great tool. Pulls in a lot of those patches that are for third-party applications, right? Those are pretty essential. What I would also add to it is also having some type of SIEM platform involved where you're getting those up-to-date vulnerability scans, and then you can report back. And these are a bit of a baseline. It's not to say all, but it does help in a sense where you can pinpoint some of these vulnerabilities and you can really drill down and be ahead of that in a conservative manner as much as possible.
Well, we do a bundle, right? So our bundle is the patching through the RMM, the XDR, Sentinel-1, and then Connect Secure as the reporting tool. And that's all in one bundle, having a sale this month, 2 for 1. No, I'm just kidding. I can't turn that. I gotta always be closing. Come on. Anyway, so those are the good 6 things. I totally agree with that. I think that's something that if you don't know what that is, you'll find out when you go to answer that form on the insurance. Because those things will be listed there for sure. And that's how the insurance company is going to get out of not covering a breach. So if it's on the form and it's something that you don't recognize, you should call your IT person or call me because of the sale that I'm having and should get the stuff. Anyway, thanks for taking some time. I think this will help our customers out, and we'll see you in the next staff meeting.
table where the secrets are laid. Behind the scenes, we've got the plans all made. Security news, diving deep in the shade. Tech tips and tools, it's a mind upgrade. The staff meeting wearing